Welcome back to the tutorial for the hardest mode in God of War 2018. And there's two very hard encounters coming up next, especially the encounter after this is very difficult, but I have some very good methods. So to start with, this purple enemy here with the purple life bar, use 3 charge attacks on him immediately, and he won't have a chance to recover, and you'll eliminate him immediately. And it's a repeatable tactic, so you should be able to get it in each time. I know because I died a few times on this encounter, so it's a great way to start off. And now I use the charge attacks heavily in this encounter for crowd control, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. See, I'm using them here, and after you land one of them, you can aim the camera, and that'll affect the direction you kick it, so you can knock the enemies back. So I knocked them back into this alcove here where they're all crammed together, right? So I'm able to get in a lot of hits this way, so I purposely did that. And I try to continue that for as long as possible to do, maximum damage before I have to deal with them out in the open. And there are some other cheap tactics you can do, which there's a wall you can hide behind and pull some bullshit, but it takes long if you just want to throw the axe at them. But I prefer this method. Just be ready to block at any time during you can interrupt your charge at any time and block. That's what's good about this game, is that you can interrupt pretty much any animation, so be ready to do that. Don't get greedy and try to go through with the charge if you're about to get hit. Just be ready to react, and then you should be okay. But yeah, it still gets close, but I use this move heavily here, and it's very effective. And I was finally able to turn off the fucking auto-targeting bullshit that I hate. I accidentally press it all the time. And if you don't like it, I would say go into the menu, the settings. You press start to pause the game, then press triangle for options, go into settings, and turn off that auto-aim shit if you don't like it. I hate it, so I never use it anyway. That auto-targeting lock-on type of shit. So I turned it off, and now I don't have to worry about accidentally locking on the guys. So yeah, this is the alcove. Well, not the alcove. This is the corner I was talking about that's safer. The guys will eventually come through here, I think, but you can throw axes from that little corner, and the fireballs will hit into the edge of that wall. Though I don't end up using that tactic, but it is a safe way to pull some bullshit from a distance. I was initially playing it like that until I decided to get more aggressive. And the next segment after this is going to involve perfect positioning, but you can pull major bullshit at the start of the fight, and you can make it much easier by eliminating 3 enemies immediately, 2 very strong enemies. And I'll show you how to do that. It's a repeatable strategy as well, as I've done it many times as I died a number of times. This took me like 51 minutes to beat these 2 parts, so it was hard. So yeah, for this very easy enemy, just punch him to death as usual. Use some arrows. He's pretty much, you can stun him and then just take him out with the R3 once that halo's around his head. Now this next part's going to be based on perfect positioning, so just watch how I do this. I move over here. As soon as he spawns, I shoot 3 arrows at him to stun him. Then I use the rage move immediately, and then I use the stomp, the air stomp with the rage move. I think it's R2, to knock the floating enemy to death immediately. Then I move to the right, and I knock that other heavy enemy into the pit immediately with that stomp attack. You have to do it just like that to get it to work. Now over here I use I get him in the air with the launcher attack, R2, and then R1 to finish him while he's in air, knock him into the pit. And by doing that, I only have these 2 enemies left instead of fighting like 5 enemies. And 2 of them being very hard fucking enemies. So you can immediately eliminate those 3 enemies, and you can do that each time. Now occasionally the floating enemy you may hit the floating enemy, the Remnant, into a wall or something, or into those gears, and it won't go in the pit. In that case, you may want to reload the checkpoint. But aside from that, I found that positioning to work pretty much every time. So it's a really fast way to eliminate those 3 enemies, make this encounter much more manageable. So I would recommend trying to start it off like that. And if you don't start it off like that, just reset it, because you'll make things much easier if you can get that to go down like that. And of course, it's still going to be challenging because it's not easy fighting these two enemies because one has the projectiles. And of course, the ones with the purple life bars, you know, they take a lot of hits, as well as these heavy guys do. So it does take some time. So even when I go in to finish off the enemy because it has a tiny amount of health, it still takes a lot of hits because the enemies have so much health on this mode that it's deceiving. But yeah, now at this point, you know, it's just dealing with one of them by itself and it's easy. So you can get your health, whatever you need, and just deal with it. But yeah, this encounter can be very difficult, so, you know, I'd recommend starting it off like that and getting rid of those enemies immediately. You know, I always like to use pits to my advantage and exploit whatever I can. It's a good example of the kind of shit that I try to do in these kind of modes and games. You know, so I was happy with the way that it was executed. I thought these two parts came out well. But yeah, it did take me, I think it took me about 51 minutes to do these two parts, so it wasn't something I did quickly. But it could have took me a lot longer on this second fight with the Remnant, because, you know, the Remnant by itself was easy, but fighting it with all the enemies is not easy. So I think it's probably one of the harder parts so far, if not the hardest part so far. It's definitely up there for what we've encountered so far. But with my strategy, it's not that bad. You know, you just use that strategy and it'll be much easier. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to get some more strategies up soon. I have another video with a few more segments, and I'm going to try to work on the game some more today as well. Thanks for watching.